Hey everyone, Waj Gaming here, back again with another video. So shout out to Junior Vice for this recommendation. So the video today is all about who you should 6-star EX. So I know some people have a lot of champion spirits and 5-star power up saved up, and you may not know who you want to 6-star EX. So today we're going to do a little tier list to see which 6-star EX Pokemon you should prioritize, and which one you shouldn't really prioritize as of yet. Okay, so if you're new to the video and to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, smash a like on the video as well, don't forget to share as well. So let's get into the video. Okay, so my first recommendation would be, if you are new and you haven't got many 6-star EX Pokemon, always invest first into strikers. It's really handy to have strikers that can AoE hit when you sync and use your sync move. After that, I would suggest going for support units. Support units are really good, especially when you 6-star EX them. Their defenses go all the way up. They're really good as well, and then you get the +2 or +2 sync boosts as well. And then finally, then I would go into tech units to invest in for 6-star EX. With tech units, they're just going to hit a bit more harder in the sync move, but they won't AoE hit. So first of all will be strikers. Okay, so getting on to now the list. So we've got top tier, underrated, very useful, and then we've got a slight increase, and then we've got not worth it. Okay, so let's look at the strikers first. So first of all, I'm going to put Metagross all the way here at top tier. I have 6-star EX Metagross, and I can tell you, when you hit its sync move, and if you got the right grid on it, it's going to sync nuke. You may have seen my videos as well, check them out as well. I do use Metagross a lot, and then you can see how powerful his sync move is. So yeah, Metagross is all the way there at the top. Next one I'm going to put in here is SS Red and Charizard, along with Leon and Charizard. They both hit hard, they're both amazing. It's not even just the sync move, it's the fact that they have strong moves, they can buff up their own stats, so they're the complete package, so they go right up there with the top tiers. Another one here for a top tier will be Hilbert and Mightyena. Again, you may have seen my master mode videos. I can easily 2v3 a lot of the Elite 4 in master mode because of Mightyena, and he is probably the best dark type striker that I've played with in the game, and he can buff up his own stats as well, so he's just amazing. He goes right up there. Another one I'd put up here as a form of a striker will be Sharpedo. Again, Sharpedo can sync Nuke as well. He is a water type Pokemon, and he is really strong, mean to use in the game. I haven't 6-star EX'd it. I've 6-star EX'd other Pokemon, so I haven't used it, but from what I've seen, he is really good to invest in. Moving on to another striker, we have Pidgeot. I'm just going to put it here as very useful. We do have a lot of other flying type Pokemon now that you can 6-star EX. I mean, it is good. It just takes a while to buff up if you ain't got the right supports. It does have brutal clarity as well. So yeah, so I'll put it there as very useful. We do have other flying type Pokemon in the game that you can 6-star EX, but it's very useful. It's not the best, but it is useful to have. Next one I've got is Drifblim. Drifblim as well, I'll put very useful. I could put I'll put it at very useful. The reason why I was thinking of putting it underrated, the reason why is because in master mode it is very useful to use, especially when you need a ghost type weakness. And again, with its moves as well, it can go invisible and dodge a move. So that's why I was thinking underrated, but I'm going to put it at very useful, just because this video is all about who you should invest in and into 6-star EX, and I just don't want to get away from that theme. So yeah, so it's very useful to have. but it wouldn't really be top priority. Next one I'd say is Garchomp. Garchomp is another one where I'm going to put as top tier, and I'm going to put it as top tier only because if you have the right units, so if you have Palossand at 2 out of 5, if you have Jasmine and Steelix, so if you've got the right Sand team or Lycanroc, Professor Kukui, and you've got Garchomp, if you 6-star EX it, it hits hard with the sync move as well, and in Sand it was, and what more can I say? Just check out my previous videos and then you'll see how good Garchomp is. Moving on to another striker, we've got here Zebra Striker. I'm going to put it as very useful. The only reason why is because we've now got Zekrom, and I think Zekrom will be a lot more of a top tier rather than Zebra Striker. I mean, it is useful, it is really good to have if you 6-star EX it, but if you've got Zekrom, then yeah, go for Zekrom. Otherwise, if you haven't got Zekrom and you've just got Zebra Striker, then for your electric type striker to 6-star EX, go for Zebra Striker. Moving on to another striker, who can I see here? We've got Wally and Glade. I'm going to put as, again, very useful. It does hit hard, it can buff up his own stats, but again, it's going to take time to buff up his stats, so you need the right supports with it. Again, he is a striker. I always say strikers that when you 6-star EX them, they are useful, because they can hit all the opponent and it can just make your job a little bit more easier. So yeah, so very useful. Moving on, next we have, let's go for Dragonite. You know my thoughts on Lance's Pokemon Dragonite and Gyarados, so I'm going to do these two as joint. Gyarados you can use as a rain nuker. He has got rain nodes in his sync grid, so you can power up his sync move with his in Rain Dance. Dragonite as well is a dragon type Pokemon, and it does hit hard. Where can I put them? I want to put them together. I'll put it as very useful, both of them. I mean, they are good to use. Again, they can hit all the opponents with the sync move, but if I compare them to the top tier, I prefer the ones at the top. This is just my preference from what I've used, and if I'm comparing these two, I know one is Gyarados is flying type, and Dragonite is dragon type. However, I feel I just don't know. I just don't like Lance's Pokemon. I'm not a big fan of Lance. If you have got Dragon Pokemon, you have got Haxorus, you have got Kommo-o, that you can 6-star EX. So yeah, if I'm comparing it together, I put Kommo-o right here at top tier. It's got clanging scales, and then if you use the AoE move at 6-star EX, it hits all the opponents, and then even after you use your sync move, you get the +2 on all your stats, which is, I think, is amazing with high 5. So I would go for Kommo-o over Dragonite. But if you haven't got Kommo-o, if you've got Dragonite, then swap them around and then you can 6-star EX Dragonite instead. Okay, moving on to Volcarona. Again, it is a bug type 6-star EX, and if I compared the bug Pokemon that we have at 6-star EX, for me it goes right here at top tier. It does hit hard, especially with Hyper Beam. It can get that +6 special attack as well in the beginning at the start of the battles. It can lower special attack. It is a really good unit to 6-star EX. And now I can finally see Zekrom. So Zekrom we've already spoken about, and we've compared it to Zebra Striker. For me, it goes up here at top tier. If you see my Master Mode video as well, I one-shot Lance with it for 1,500 points. So again, if you set it up right, it does sync nuke and it does hit hard. However, if you're comparing it in terms of sync nukers, then for me, Metagross is number one in terms of sync nukers. So if you're looking for someone to hit really hard, if you've got Metagross, I'd say prioritize with Metagross. Next one is Lucario. I'm going to put in here as very useful. The reason why we're going to put it here very useful is number one, it is a 6-star EX and it is free to play, so anyone in the game can get him at 6-star EX if you've got enough power-ups and champion spirits, and he is a free to play unit. So yeah, so he's very useful to have in your team. Another striker that we have here is Yveltal. For me, I haven't 6-star EX'd it. I really did want to, but looking at how many champion spirits I had, I just wanted to save him up for this month. But he is one that I would want to 6-star EX, and if I compare it to all the other flying type Pokemon, he can also be used as a dark type Pokemon, so he's very versatile, and he can also heal as well if you have the right grid on him as well with recuperation. So for me, I put him here at top tier as well. I love the animation as well in the game when he does 6-star EX. Sorry, not when he's 6-star EX, when he uses his sync move. I just think it's amazing. Another one now is actually has Gardevoir as a striker. Again, I don't like to comment on Pokemon if I haven't got them or used them. It is coming out this month. It will be a fairy type striker. So I don't think I've seen the grid, and I think it will hit more harder with Moonblast rather than its sync move. So for that reason, I'm just going to put it here very useful for now. When I've used it, maybe then I'll change my mind. But looking at what we've got in terms of the data and the stats and the sync grid, for me, I'll just put it here very useful for now. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it will change my mind when I use it. We'll see. Okay, next one we've got is Innate and Bravery. I'm gonna put it at underrated. When it first did come out into the game, I don't think it was very popular. The stats weren't as good. However, looking at it in master mode, it is underrated and it can be used very effectively if you know how to use him, and then he does hit hard, and he's also a physical flying type, which we haven't got much of. We've got more special type flying Pokemon, so yeah, so he's underrated. Next one we've got is Haxorus. For me, Haxorus is very good, and he's also free to play. For me, if I'm comparing it as a free to play player and I've got a Lucario and I've got a Haxorus, I'll put a blindfold on, I'll close my eyes, and 100% I'll go for Haxorus over Lucario. Now, only because he hits harder. He won't get lowered stats. You just need to put Lesson Confusion 9 as a lucky skill, and then when you sync with him, he will hit hard as well. I wouldn't put it as underrated. I'll put it here as top tier. It is really good to use, and it is free to play. If it wasn't free to play, maybe then I would have put it a bit down on very useful. So if you're a free to play player and you haven't got many of these units and you've got Haxorus, you can prioritize the 6-star EX Haxorus. Okay, moving on now. Let's see who else we've got. So we've just got a few more strikers here, and then we'll move on to supports. Sceptile, I'm gonna put here as a slight increase. He is good. He's grass type as well. I love using him in master mode. He does hit hard. He is easy to buff up as well, especially if you start in the battle. You can get that +6 special, +6 attack as well, and then he can raise his critical hit. But in terms of 6-star and EX, there isn't much of a slight difference in him, so I wouldn't really put all your 5-star power-ups into him at the beginning. If you've got the units above. If you haven't got the units above, and if you've got Sceptile, then yeah, go for Sceptile. but he won't be, for me, a good investment in the beginning if you are getting 6-star EX Pokemon in the game. Moving on, we've got Lusamine and Pheromosa. I'm just going to put it here at useful. I've hardly used Lusamine and Pheromosa, even though I have it at 5 out of 5. The reason why I don't like it is because everyone knows the lower defenses and special defenses. When the opponent, especially in Master Mode, uses a sync move, it dies. So it's not really that good. But in terms of hitting, it's got Blizzard, it's got good bug moves, it does hit really hard. So yeah, it is useful. It does hit hard, but the defenses let it down. If the defenses were a bit more, maybe I would have put it a bit higher in this tier list for 6-star EXing. But it is useful to have, but again, I wouldn't really invest into it because of the defenses, because when you want to hit with a sync move, you want to use it as soon as possible. And again, if the opponent is sync moving you before you, this is gone. So I haven't really been a big fan of it. Moving on now, how many more strikers have we got? We've got here Zacian. Zacian for me goes all the way here at top tier. It's similar to Steven and Metagross. It hits hard. It's amazing. So if you haven't got Metagross and you've got a Zacian, then I'll say go for Zacian. They're both similar, but the only difference is Metagross can also flinch, which is pretty handy, and it can also get that short crit as well. So if you've got Zacian, then go for Zacian. Let's move on now down here. Let's see who else we have. Okay, so now we'll go into the supports, and then we'll go into techs. For the first support that has to go here right at the top is Jasmine and Steelix. I've 6-star EX'd it. I've used it a lot. I use it in a lot of teams, and it can be used as a tank. It can also be used as a striker. If you use the grid right, it's very versatile, and then having that +2 sync buff is really handy as well. So yeah, so Jasmine and Steelix is one of the good supports that I'd be 6-star in EXing. One of the priorities that you should all do, if you haven't done it, is make sure you 6-star EX your Skylar and Swanna. That is a must. That is a top priority. It's a free-to-play unit, so why not? If you look at the stats when it's at 6-star EX, they're amazing. So make sure you 6-star EX Swanna. Another one that goes on up here is Blue and Blastoise. SS Blue and Blastoise, what more can I say? You can use it as a striker, you can use it as a tank. It's the best tanker for me in the game. If you disagree with me, let me know. I doubt anyone would. It is amazing. It can do whatever a tank should do. So I'll put it up there. Next one we got here is Clefairy. I'm going to put this as underrated. The only reason why is I haven't seen many people 6-star EX Clefairy. However, using it in the game, I use it a lot. I mean, that +3 special attacks and +3 attack and ensures crit and accuracy buffs. And if you've got the hit on the grid, it can heal, and it can also heal the team when it sinks. So if you have this at 6-star EX, it will heal the team, and it will also increase all the stats for Clefairy. So it is an amazing unit to have, and I think it's underrated. So if you have got it, go for it. 6-star EX it. Moving on now to Rosa. I'm gonna say slight increase. There's not much of a slight increase into it. It is free to use. It was a free unit for us. 20 out of 20 and 5 out of 5. 2 out of 5 if you have been playing the game, or 1 out of 5 if you haven't been playing. If you've just been playing recently, you can 6-star EX it, but it's just a slight increase. So if you are new to the game and you are getting all these power-ups, do use them on her. but just save the champion spirits for maybe Swanna or Haxorus if you are just starting up into the game. Another support that we can see here is Torterra. Torterra I'm going to put at top tier as well. It's an amazing support unit. Stats are amazing. It can heal, buff defenses. You get the +2 as well on sync buffs, and also it can be used as a striker, a physical grass striker. So if I'm comparing it to Sceptile, it can do more than Sceptile, because supports are just amazing in the game. They're just so busted. So yeah, so for me it goes top tier. Next one we'll have here is Delibird. Delibird I'm just going to put here as a slight increase. It's not really that top priority to 6-star EX. If you compare it to other units in the game, there are better units in the game. Yes, it's a support. Yes, it can buff stats, but if you look at its versatility, I wouldn't say it's as versatile as if you compare them to the other Pokemon in this list. So for me, I'll put it there as a slight increase. Moving on to now Rotom. For me, Rotom goes all the way here at the top as top tier. I've 6-star EX'd it. I've used it in the game. It is amazing to use. You can reduce sync move countdown. You can raise special attack, raise evasiveness, raise accuracy. You can even use it as a striker. It's that good. So if you have 6-star EX Rotom, it is fun to use as well. Okay, next one is Obstagoon. Obstagoon I'm put as underrated. I don't think many people have invested into it. Again, it's one of those where I haven't 6-star EX'd it yet, because looking at the list, I think there are better Pokemon to 6-star EX. However, if you do 6-star EX it, I think it's very underrated. I think using it in Master Mode as well, what a good strategy to use for this is to use Dire Hit All, and then just spam Obstruct, and then you've got the Endurance as well. So once Obstruct is finished, just keep using Endurance, and it can block so many good moves, and it can save you in Master Mode. If you haven't seen it already, just check my previous videos and you'll see my Master Mode videos how good he actually is. So yeah, so he is underrated. Next, moving on to Erica and Comfy. I'm going to do two Pokemon together. Erica and Comfy for me is top tier, and Lilia and Bombi for me is top tier. I mean, the things that these two Pokemon can do are amazing in itself. You got Comfy that can heal the team, drain HP, self-heal, and then you've got Rabombi can raise critical hit and evasiveness. I mean, both of these are 6-star EX. If you look at their stats are amazing. So I would go for 6-star EX in them if you've got them. Okay, I think that is all the supports. Now we're moving on to the tech units. Looking at the techs, first one I'm going to go for is Iris and Hydrogen. For me, it goes straight here, top tier, without a doubt. Looking at the grid, I know I did say that I don't like judging Pokemon without using them or seeing them until they're in the game. However, looking at all the stats and the sync grid, for me, it goes right there at the top. And then if I use it, maybe I'll change my mind. But looking at all the stats and information that we have, for me, I'll put it there at the top. Another one here I'm going to put at the top is Venusaur. If you've just seen my video on Tuesday that I just posted with my 2v3 Master Mode, I 1v3'd Will. So I've used the Poison Stall method, and Venusaur is amazing. So if you have got him, you can 6-star EX him. The stats go through the roof. It can poison, it can lower defensive, lower evasiveness, it can heal the team, it can reduce sync move countdown. I can go on and on. Venusaur is amazing. Next one is I'll say Togekiss. Skylar and Togekiss for me is top tier. However, The only reason why I'm putting it at top tier is because it can sync nuke. If you raise all its stats and you set it up carefully and you inflict status conditions into the team, it is amazing to use. So for that reason, I'm putting it here at top tier. Moving on now to who do we have here? Let's go with now Swampert and May. For me, I'm gonna put it here as top tier as well. It is an amazing unit to 6-star EX. When you do 6-star EX it can sync nuke as well if you set it up right, and if you have the right supports with it. And the grid is amazing as well. It's so powerful. So yeah, so if you do have May and Swampert, you can 6-star EX. It is really good to use. Moving on now to who could we do here? I'm gonna put Whimsicott and Delphox. For me, I'd say they're both top tier, and the reason why I'm gonna say they're both top tier is because they're amazing tech units. Delphox, we all know AoE sleep and trap, but as 6-star EX it does hit a lot more harder, especially with the grid as well. It does extra damage when the opponent is asleep. Whimsicott as well, again, amazing sync grid if you do set up right. It is a sync nuker. We all know sync nukers in the game are pretty impressive, and they do a lot of damage. Moving on now to who else? I'm gonna put in here Marnie and Marpeko. I want to put it at top tier just because of its trip power move. However, I'm going to put it as very useful. It is a useful unit to have in the game. It does hit hard, and especially with a 2-gauge move that does a lot of damage if you set it up right. It's an amazing unit. However, if I'm looking at all the other Pokemon here, I would prioritize with the top tier. Next we've got is Musharna. Musharna I'm going to put here as very useful. It is an amazing unit to have, but if you 6-star EX the other Pokemon, you won't get much extra benefit from 6-star EX other than extra stats. Again, it's also got psychic terrain, so again it's only limited to having psychic type Pokemon in its team. However, that stored power move that it's got is amazing, and just for that reason then I'm going to put it here as very useful to 6-star EX. Moving on now to who else can we do next? Mimikyu. Mimikyu as well, I'm just going to put here as very useful. It is okay to have. Again, if you got it 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, it's not as good. So if you do have it 3 out of 5, then maybe you consider 6-star EX in it. But again, we've got Drift Belm as well that can do exactly the same what Mimikyu can do. So yeah, so I'll put it as very useful. The next one is Silvala. Again, I'm going to put it as slight increase. I would say useful, but because it's a normal type Pokemon, I know it can change weaknesses. So yeah, I'll put it as a slight increase. Yeah, so maybe I'll put it as very useful. It can change its types, so for that reason we'll put it there. Moving on to now Luxray. Luxray for me is top tier. Again, when you 6-star EX it, because it's got electric terrain and because it can flinch and paralyze, if you set it up right, it can hit hard with its sync move. And especially it does go well with all the other electric type Pokemon that we have in the game, and it does buff up a lot of other Pokemon. So yeah, so for me it goes there at top tier. Similarly, I'm also going to put Milotic up here. Milotic I'm putting here at top tier as well. The reason why, it's just amazing. With the moves that it's got, it can trap, and also if you look at the sync grid as well, it does amazing damage at 6-star EX. So yeah, for that reason I'm putting there. moving now to Altaria. For me, Altaria, so it's got fairy move, it's got dragon moves. The sync move as well does do a lot of damage. And looking at the grid, it's also a top tier unit to have as a tech unit. So yeah, for that reason it goes there. It does hit hard as well, with that extra buff at 6-star EX. Next we have is Alcremie. Alcremie I'm gonna put as underrated. I haven't seen many people 6-star EX it. However, if you do use it and you do set it up right, it can sync nuke as well. It is an amazing unit to have in your team. However, because of all the other fairy type Pokemon we have in the game, I think other people have tried to prioritize other Pokemon rather than Alcremie. But Alcremie is really good. Next one we have is Tesserina. You can sync nuke with it. However, you need to set it up right. I always put sync nukers here at the top tier. It does help to have a lot of sync nukers at 6-star EX when you really need them, and just because they do a lot of damage as well. So here's my tier list. As I mentioned at the start of the video, always invest first into strikers, just because they can AoE hit. Second, if you've got a few now 6-star EX strikers, then I'd suggest going for the support units. And then if you've got strikers and support units and you haven't got many tech units to 6-star EX, then start investing into 6-star EX units. So here is my list. If you do agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know. These are just my thoughts and opinions. You can take them on board if you want. You can tell me who you change on this list in the comments as well. And hopefully then this tier list as well helps you into choosing who you want to 6-star EX. So if you're new, don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, smash the like button. Don't forget to share. Also check out my Instagram, where I'm giving a giveaway this month for 9,800 gems, so do check that out as well. And also stay tuned for my video on Sunday, where I'll be going through my teams that I'll be using for Master Mode for the coming week. And hopefully that can give you an insight and a better aspect into how I use my teams and how it can help you to achieve the amount of points that you're targeting for in Master Mode. So have a good day and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Thanks.